will start and they will come. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnana-Shalakya Chakshudamritam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swami Namo Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namo Namaste Saraswati Deve Guruvani Charni Vishesha Shunmari Bhasha Devishthari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Makam Karati Vachalam Dayati Grimit Padam Shri Guru Vinitaram Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Guruve Gaurachandra Radhikaya Tatale Krishna Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Yasya Devi Bhagavati Yatha Devi Tatha Guru Tasya Ekatara Yatha Kashante Mahatma Yonta Pravishya Majamam Prasatam Sanjeevayate Kalashakti Dharasudam Nanyam Shastra Charana Shravanatavadi Pranam Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Tuvyam Nija Guru Varivanya Krishna Chitto Vichinto Paritapatrige Had Andha Samsara Kupaha Prabhajana Sukapto Machin Samsa Vishku Vikasu Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining our sessions. So we are reading from volume 3. So those who are new devotees, newly joining, so they should know that we are reading from the volume 3. We are in part, so there are various parts. There are total 28 parts. Or 28? No, I think 18 parts. Total 18 parts of the book. We are in 14th part. So volume 3, part 14. This is the one, Srila Prabhupada and his disciples. So in that we are in chapter 1, guarantee for going to Godhead. So Guru-disciple dynamics. So we are in this section called guarantee for going back to Godhead. Guarantee for going back to Godhead. Don't think that this chanting and dancing will not lead you to the desired goal. It will, because it is assurance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that you will get all perfection by this process. As his disciples, ever well-wisher, Srila Prabhupada wished for them the best thing possible to go back home, to go back to Godhead. He promised that sincere hard work would soon take them to the cherished destination. It's nice. Know it for certain that by your sincere working for Krishna, very soon you will go back to home, back to Godhead. To devotees in Rome, Srila Prabhupada wrote, "Thank you for establishing a center in this very important city. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will take you by the hand and bring you back home, back to Godhead." He similarly blessed devotees in New Vrindavan. Srila Prabhupada was glorifying Kirtanananda Swami and the work that he had been doing in New Vrindavan. And he was so pleased. He said, "I bless Kirtanananda Swami to go back to Godhead in this life." And all the devotees broke out in this cheer. Then in his magnanimity and his big heart, he said, "What Kirtanananda?" And he took his right hand and placed it in the direction of Kirtanananda, which was the corner on the left. And then he started sweeping it across the heads of all the devotees in the temple room and said, "I bless all of you to go back to Godhead." We were assured to definitely go back to Godhead by the mercy of the pure devotee. Repeatedly, Srila Prabhupada assured the devotees who followed the process he had given would go to Krishna. He told devotees in Los Angeles, "I'm very glad to see that you are maintaining the temple standard as good as I saw when I left. This is my satisfaction. Always keep this atmosphere and follow the regulative principles. Chant 16 rounds, you will remain always happy. It is very simple method. And you are all intelligent boys and girls in the Western countries, and I'm very happy that you have taken it seriously. Continue this." You will never be unhappy. And not only here, but also as Krishna said, Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhya jivam namaskuru. Always think of Krishna, Man mana, or become Krishna's devotees and offer Krishna obeisances and worship Krishna. We are teaching these four principles in the temple. How to worship Krishna. You should know these four principles. How to worship Krishna, how to serve Krishna, how to become Krishna's devotee, and how to think of Krishna 24 hours. So if anybody asks, what is ISKCON teaching? What is ISKCON teaching? Anybody can say this. All devotees can tell this. Anybody who wants to, who will meet their relatives or public or anybody. What is ISKCON teaching? ISKCON is teaching these four principles. How to worship Krishna, how to serve Krishna, how to become Krishna's devotee, and how to think of Krishna 24 hours. Which we should write it everywhere. Just a second. Oh, Krishna. And if we do this, there is guarantee. And Krishna says, Mame Vaishyasya Samshayaha. Bhagavad Gita 18.68. Without any doubt, you will come to me. You will go back to home, back to God. When asked if a devotee would go back to Godhead if he follows the four relative principles and chants 16 rounds, Srila Prabhupada responded, oh yes. Indeed, Srila Prabhupada emphatically guaranteed it, but devotees would have to follow strictly, rigidly, and carefully. This is important. Strictly, rigidly, and carefully. In our Krishna consciousness movement, devotees have been advised to refrain from four sinful activities: illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating, and gambling, and to chant 16 rounds a day. If this method is strictly followed, the followers will ultimately reach the destination by the grace of the Lord. This strict following entitled observing other principles supportive of the basic 16 plus 4. Now you must agree to very rigidly follow the rules and regulations. That is, chanting 16 rounds of beads daily is not on clicker. On beads daily, rising uh, early and attending Mangal Arati, observing the four principles, attending the classes, eating only Bhagavata Prasada, as well as working under the instruction of my representatives, such as your GBC representative and temple president. If you follow this process, if you follow this procedure very strictly, then your life will be glorious and you will go back to Godhead, back to home, back to Godhead. This I guarantee. Deity worship and watering the tulsi plants, chanting at least 16 rounds, and observing the rules and regulations, then your life is successful. Don't neglect. Very seriously continue. And in this one life, you're going back to the home, back to Godhead. It is sure. I'm not flattering you. Krishna says, Manmana Bhavan Bhakto. Krishna says, Manmana Bhavan Bhakto Madhyajiman Namaskuru Mame Vaishyasya Samshaya. Samshaya without any doubt. Simply following these rules and regulations, Mame Vaishyasi. You come back to me. By their commitment to Krishna consciousness, devotees on the path of deathlessness. And if they stay on the path, they will go to Krishna. As soon as a diseased man goes to physician, gets the right medicine and takes it, that means his diseaseless condition has already begun. It will take a little time. So in the meantime, in that treatment time, diseaselessness condition, if you make another infection, that is your fault. Otherwise, deathlessness begins from the day of initiation. This is very good point. I never heard this. Ado Guru Ashrayam. As soon as you take shelter of bona fide spiritual master, your point of deathlessness begins immediately. Immediately. And if you continue taking the advice and instruction of the spiritual master or the Shastra, and you become deathless. No more death. As soon as you surrender to God through His representation, your death is stopped. Unless you make it nullified by accepting another anything which is against the bhakti principle. Otherwise, your deathlessness is guaranteed. Death is stopped as soon as you take to Krishna consciousness. Death is stopped as soon as you take Krishna consciousness very seriously, immediately, from that moment, as soon as you are initiated. Wow. You promised before the spiritual master, yes, I'm initiated, I shall act like this. And if you follow, then your death is stopped. No more death. Simply an official business. Just like you sleep and again you wake up. Similarly, a devotee's death is like that. It is like sleeping and next moment in the spiritual world immediately, spiritual kingdom immediately. When he will rise, he will see, I am with Krishna, I am with Krishna. Accordingly, Srila Prabhupada requested his disciples to stick to the process and fully prepare themselves for going back to Godhead. Now you must all carefully follow these four regulative principles. No meat eating, no illicits. Number one, no meat eating. Number two, no illicit sex. Number three, no intoxication. Number four, no gambling. Always be sure to chant minimum 16 rounds daily. Study my books carefully, go for Sankirtan, and engage in deity worship in the temple. You are all very sincere boys and girls. Now I request you to make your life successful for going back to home, back to Godhead. Please always follow the four regulative principles and chant minimum 16 rounds per day. Study my books very carefully and prepare yourself fully for going back to God, home, back to Godhead. In summary, if we simply follow these instructions, spiritual life becomes very simple and we can go back to Krishna in the spiritual world at the end of this life, which is the success of human life. Okay. Many devotees are there to read. I want to give chance to the new devotees. Prabhuji's are new devotee boys. Ashwinji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Can you
Krishna.
please, you have to read slowly and clearly. That's the only thing. And
Oh,
I will turn the pages. Okay.
okay.
And you should be mindful that you're not reading for yourself, you're reading for everybody. So you should be clear and distinct and okay, slow, not very slow, little bit slow. Okay. Hare
Okay.
Krishna. Please continue.
Relationships based on love. In India, by culture, people are trained to respect, even love the Guru. But there is no such culture in the West. Srila Prabhupada, by the power of his personality, invoked love from his disciples so much so that not only in the West but also in India, people became amazed by the Guru Bhakti he inspired. Especially at the airport arrivals, his disciples' love overflowed as they jumped, beat drums, and full throatedly chanted Jai Prabhupada, oblivious to the astonished onlookers. A 1971 New York Daily News article covering one such airport arrival was titled Swami, How They Love You. Apart from this, ebullient welcomes his disciples, love manifested moment by moment in all that they did for him. The transformative effect of the love Srila Prabhupada gave was so powerful that erstwhile uncommitted, self absorbed hippies went out day after day to the streets and airports, sacrificing everything to distribute his books. Those who could not comprehend this love condemned it as brainwashing and mind control. They did not want to admit that it was real. To one disciple, Srila Prabhupada wrote, I love you at my heart. And indeed, he felt ardent affection for all the boys and girls in his movement. As capsulized by Sahadeva Dasa, Srila Prabhupada was like a loving, affectionate father who gave love millions of times greater than parents or friends or children or anyone else in this world. Incomparable love and affection. The spiritual master is indeed the spiritual father, as he gives second birth to the disciples. Under the guidance of spiritual master, the spiritual father, one can return home back to Godhead. As their spiritual father Srila Prabhupada both assured his disciples of his enduring love for them and tirelessly instructed them on the path of topmost auspiciousness. You do not require to worry, as I shall never leave you. You are my disciple, and I am your spiritual master. So there is no question, as long as you follow my instructions, that I shall ever leave you. Just remember, under all circumstances, to chant 16 rounds of japa daily, offer your prasada to Krishna, and do all things which you already know as your senior disciple. These things will protect you under all conditions without any doubt. Telling them, never leave me, and I cannot live without your company. Srila Prabhupada evoked within his disciples tremendous love for himself, which palpably radiated throughout his movement and majorly factored in his disciples' extraordinary dedication to himself and to Krishna consciousness. Satsvarupa Dasa Goswami noted, Srila Prabhupada loved his disciples and they loved him. Out of love, he was giving them the greatest treasure, and out of love, they were following his instructions. This was the essence of spiritual life. On the basis of this love, the Krishna consciousness movement would grow. By his love for Krishna and his love for his disciples, Srila Prabhupada linked them with Krishna. You are mine and I am Krishna's. Therefore, you are all Krishna's. Some disciples saw Srila Prabhupada principally as a father. Some, mostly those who had been with him in the earliest days of his Western mission, as a friend, and many saw him like a heroic military commander. Mukunda Goswami perceived him as a master, a father, and my dearmost friend. Gurudasa described him as our blissful spiritual father, spiritual mother, spiritual teacher, spiritual preceptor, spiritual friend, and such a humble servant that he wants nothing for himself but simply our spiritual advancement. Another early joiner, Shyamashundara Dasa, undoubtedly had a special personal relationship with Srila Prabhupada. Yet, after traveling widely with Srila Prabhupada, he observed, wherever we went, whatever we did, each devotee had a special personal relationship with Srila Prabhupada. In all cases, love was the basis of Srila Prabhupada's relationship with his disciples. He truly loved them and they truly loved him. The love exhibited by his disciples, especially when he was personally present with them, was extraordinary and exceptional. You cannot survive without my mercy, and I cannot survive without your mercy. It is reciprocal. This mutual dependence is based on love Krishna consciousness. His disciples noted how he loved them, and he noted how they loved him. People, uh, my disciples are thanking me for what I have done for them. I don't think it is official. Why should you be after a poor Indian? It must be because you got life. I don't think they are writing out of formality. Shrutakriti Dasa observed, Srila Prabhupada taught us how to love Krishna by teaching us how to love him. He made it very easy to want to serve him. However, this love is not a mushy sentimentalism. Love means to follow. A devotee asked Prabhupada, what does it mean to have? Yeah. A devotee asked Prabhupada, what does it mean to have love for the spiritual master? What does love of the Guru mean? Prabhupada replied, love for the Guru means you have taken initiation, you have made a vow to the spiritual master, and taken fire sacrifice. You keep your vow, that is love. On this basis, Srila Prabhupada told Satsvarupa Dasa Goswami, if you love me, I will love you. To another disciple, he wrote, eternally I want to remain your guide, provided you want to accept me. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Prabhuji. So request some of the devotees to read. There are the devotees also. Okay. Ujjwal ji, can you read?
Yes, bro. Hare Krishna.
Can you please read?
What? Yes, bro. Like father
You
and
have the
children.
book? No, you have the book or you're reading from the screen?
You reading from the screen, bro.
You don't have the book?
No, bro. Book.
Why don't you order?
Yes, bro.
So you should order the books. So I request all the devotees, if you don't have the book, please order the book. Don't think it is costly. Okay, Prabhuji.
Bro.
Please start reading.
Like father and children. In accord with Indian usage, Srila Prabhupada referred to young adults, especially unmarried ones, as boys and girls, a usage that from an older person generally conveys a sense of parental affection and protectiveness. His disciples perceived this and reciprocated. I suppose he saw us more or less like children in some sense. He used to get angry at us and then praise us when we did something right, like with children, always encouraging his motivation ways, always to get us to do something for Krishna, which was for our own good. As is standard in a guru disciples relationship, Srila Prabhupada considered his disciples to be like his children. We left only 3 or 4 children. Now we have got hundreds of children without any botheration of wife. And they are so obedient and so beautiful, so nice that I could not expect even from the children which I begot at home. Pleased with a devotee couples being very sincere and hardworking, Srila Prabhupada wrote, I am more than satisfied with you. You are more dear to me than my own son and daughters. Tamal Krishna Goswami told him, you are the perfect father. Srila Prabhupada, you provide everything for us, a place to lie, food to eat, everything. And
Hare
you
Krishna, Hare
will,
Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
yes, sir.
Tamal Krishna Goswami told, you are perfect for you, a place to live, not live. Live.
Live. A place to live, food to eat, everything. And you trained us with spiritual knowledge. Chakri Das, like a loving father teaching a young child, you patently taught us everything we had to know to become fully Krishna conscious while overlooking our faults. You are actually our eternal loving spiritual father, and we are your spiritual children. When Janki Devi Dasi asked, do you have any children? Srila Prabhupada replied, are you not my child? You are my child. Janki Devidasi continued, and I believed him. He was a more of a father than I had experienced ever. His love for us was so true and so wonderful, and he was a funny and sweet and knowledgeable and forgiving and guiding us in nothing but a good way. And we were just captured with love for him. It was just breath, breathtaking how much you could love another human being. I was married, but this was a different kind of love. This was just a heavenly love. Truly blessed, yes, truly blessed. Suttakirti Das observed, We are his children, and his position was to teach us. As their spiritual father, Srila Prabhupada expertly sheltered and guided his neophyte disciple, whom he once affectionately referred to as my little fools. He encouraged us to continue with our preaching programs and chastised us when we proposed to
Chastised.
do some
Prabhu, chastised. Chastised.
chastised us when we proposed to do something foolish or immature. In doing so, he empowered us to continue in the right direction and saved us from all ourselves, as we could be quite expert at making wrong choice. It was like having the perfect father, the father who knew everything. It was a feeling of deep security that we would always be safe, always be properly guided, and that there was nothing to fear. With Prabhupada, we knew that any challenge in life could be easily solved, any question answered, any illusion dispelled, and any ignorance defeated. We felt that even thought we were fools, we were no longer forced to act foolishly, and that we had become uniquely blessed with wisdom that would distinguish us even from the most intelligent people. This parental relation is not mere sentiment, it is based on
Prabhu,
Krishna
Hare Krishna.
consciousness.
This
Yes,
parental relationship, that is not relation. Relationship is not
re-
mere. It's mere.
relationship
It's not,
mere. Sentiment, it is based on Krishna consciousness and develops on the basis of service.
Okay, Prabhu. I'll request some other devotees to read. Okay. Thank
Okay,
you.
bro. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay, Kartikeya ji, you can start reading.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, from when I initiated you,
Yes.
Hare Krishna. When I
Right.
initiated you, I accepted you at that very moment as my daughter. So you are eternally my daughter, and I am your father. There is no doubt about it. And our relationship is based on Krishna consciousness. So the more successful you preach and help the Krishna consciousness movement, the more our relationship on the transcendental platform is firm and fixed up. Reminiscing about Boston in 1971, Satsvarupa Das Goswami recalled how disciples saw Srila Prabhupada. They were completely respectful and submissive to him, and he commanded this. He did not demand it. More, while we looked up to him and treated him as good as God, he was also very intimate and friendly with us, like our Father. We believe everything he says. We do whatever he asks. He knows he has us under his control. We are young disciples in awe of Srila Prabhupada. He takes the responsibility of guiding our lives. He has taken our karma. He is grateful that we are submissive, but he wants us to be much more competent and organized and preach more effectively in Krishna consciousness. We are passive and await his commands. We have shaven our heads and we wear Eastern Vaishnava clothes. We have given up our American identities, but we are still very much Americans, only recently taken on the life of followers of Lord Chaitanya. He knows we are trying our best, yet we are not capable of much. We we can chant on our beats, but it is difficult to control the mind. We don't know the esoteric truths of Krishna consciousness. We chant loudly on the streets of Boston, and he is very proud of us for that. We are learning how to distribute Back to Godhead magazine for 25 cents, but we haven't learned yet how to sell his big books. He is patiently waiting for us to do more. He loves us and we love him. We are at a sweet, early point in our relationship. It is growing to where we will be able to take more responsibilities, and he is grateful for what we are doing now. He liked to be with his disciples. During a 1966 lecture, Srila Prabhupada posed the question, why does Krishna expand? He, he then answered it. Krishna expands to enjoy. Take, for example, myself as spiritual master. Suppose I have some disciples. What is the meaning of these disciples? It is to enjoy. I take disciples so that we can be together and have kirtan and prasad. We can eat together, we have kirtan, and we talk about Krishna. It is to enjoy. Exceptionally exalted as he was, Srila Prabhupada happily lived among his neophyte disciples. Hari Shoridas commented, Srila Prabhupada must have many friends in the spiritual world with whom he can eternally enjoy happy and carefree days. Yet being extraordinarily merciful, he chooses to be here among us. Although the most exalted personality, he appears to like nothing better than to be with his disciples, foolish and neophyte as we are. He gives us the impression that there is no one in the world he would rather be with, and nothing he would rather be doing than sharing whatever he has with us. Although we have nothing to give him in return that could possibly be of interest to him. It seems a lopsided relationship, but Prabhupada does not mind. He is not looking for anything for himself, only to see what he can give us. As a result, we have obtained more than any of us can ever have hoped for. Srila Prabhupada truly enjoys associating with his disciples. He seems to thrive on it. Indeed, he never seems happier than when he is sitting or walking with his disciples and discussing the philosophy and activities of the Krishna consciousness movement. He is such a wonderful and remarkably merciful person that although we are helpless fools, he actually wants to be with us. His transcendental nature constantly amazes me. Indeed, Srila Prabhupada told his disciples that he wanted their association. I cannot live without your company. I want association of Vaishnavas. You are all pure Vaishnavas. You have sacrificed everything, material comforts, for Krishna's sake. That is Vaishnava.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Correct.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Uh, okay, Paramatmananda Prabhu, you can read.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Empowerment by faith. Not only by precept, but more importantly by his very life in everything he did and said. Srila Prabhupada inspired his disciples to dedicate themselves fully to him. Despite his being perceptibly fixed in spiritual consciousness, he was not dreamily mystical. Rather, he was pragmatic and wise in the ways of the world. He knew what was needed to organize and spread a worldwide movement, and was prepared to do whatever was necessary to get the job done. He led with strength, determination, charm, intelligence, conviction, and faith in the will of Krishna. Empowered by faith in his own Guru, Srila Prabhupada did the seemingly impossible, and he empowered his disciples to also do the impossible. Their dissolute background was completely opposite to that of Srila Prabhupada's. Hence, their faith in him was their only asset. As, on his order, they unhesitatingly entered territories where Krishna consciousness was entirely new and expanded his impossible vision in further unimaginable ways.
He empowered he empowered his followers to take Krishna consciousness to every town and village and to fearlessly give it to materialists, atheists, and die-hard agnostics. Srila Prabhupada's strategy worked miraculously. No one had ever spread Krishna consciousness so widely. His initial followers were characterized by an eagerness to share with others their excitement about Srila Prabhupada's greatness and the bliss of Krishna consciousness that he had given them. The uniting link of these devotees, many of whom were headstrong and eccentric, was their faith in and dedication to Srila
Prabhu, eccentric.
eccentric,
Huh?
yes,
Eccentric.
was their faith
Eccent-
in and dedication to Srila.
Eccentric means this one, his behavior and slightly strange behavior, that is called as eccentric. Yeah.
Yes, next question. Srila Prabhupada. With a spirit of surrender to Srila Prabhupada and faith in his orders, the movement spread rapidly. Syam Sundar Das recalled, I could never be anything like Srila Prabhupada, so pure and surrendered, so in touch with Krishna, but I was convinced I had never done anything so exciting and meaningful in my life, and that if there was any hope at all for me, I had to continue on this path, working as hard as I could to spread Krishna consciousness in the world. The order of the spiritual master is the active principle in spiritual life, and so great is the power of faith in his order, and so great is the ecstasy experienced in this way, that for these devotees nothing seemed impossible. They were by no means highly trained. They had not attended leadership seminars. They did not realize how conditioned they were. These questions arose later. They knew only Srila Prabhupada is a pure devotee, a direct representative of Krishna. All his activities, every word from his lotus mouth, are all totally divine. His command is our life, and that everything is happening by his mercy. Inspiring such dedication in his disciples, Srila Prabhupada lifted them to the platform of empowered acharyas, animated with his own spirit of fearlessness of if Krishna wants anything can be done, and the resolve to serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission with unconditional surrender. Hence, although they were new to Krishna consciousness and knew very little about it, many of Srila Prabhupada's disciples were able to do what he did, to go to places unknown to them with almost no money and little idea how they would survive, not knowing how they would be received, and improbably implant Krishna consciousness in people who had no idea about it. We were young people, had been in Krishna consciousness 6 months, a year, maybe a little longer, and he deputized us to go all over the world and present Krishna consciousness on his behalf. And there were hundreds of temples established by people who were just barely introduced to Krishna consciousness themselves. Not that you had to be a PhD in Krishna consciousness to do this. You were a beginning student, but you went, and when you preached Krishna consciousness, things would come out of you. Srila Prabhupada had so much faith and confidence in us, and he had confidence in Lord Chaitanya that this would be accomplished. Dr. Thomas Hopkins, while acknowledging that ISKCON's success was primarily due to Srila Prabhupada's unique contributions, noted that it was also the product of the extraordinary efforts of his early disciples, who would literally do anything to please their spiritual master. As related by Syam Sundar Das, one of Srila Prabhupada's first intrepid pioneers, I will do anything to see that smile on his face that shows he is pleased by something I did to serve Krishna. This was by now the sole meaning of our lives, to please the Swami in some unique way. Dr. Thomas Hopkins shared his realization about this phenomenon. He was just astonishing in terms of the personal impact he had on people, the way he was able to give them confidence in themselves, but more importantly, give them confidence that there was a guide who was leading them and would give them the strength that they needed. The one thing, the one thing that I am constantly struck with was the total confidence with which Bhaktivedanta Swami had people doing things. Take the example of his disciple Brahmananda. Bhaktivedanta told him, "Go, start a magazine, start a printing and publishing enterprise." And Brahmananda replied, "I don't know how to do it." And Bhaktivedanta said, "Well, find out. Krishna will help you." This sort of exchange occurred numerous times with numerous disciples. He inspired a sense of confidence in people because he himself was absolutely confident and convinced. He had no doubt that what he told people they would be able to do. He had much more confidence in people than they had in themselves, to say the least. His confidence, however, was not in others or in himself exactly, but in Krishna. That's the other thing that was so impressive about the man himself. He never put himself forward as having the power to make things happen. He never said, "Go and do this because I will give you the power. I I will inspire you to do great things." He always said, "Krishna will give you the power, Krishna will guide you." It was a confidence not in himself or in the other person but in Krishna, and that was effective. He would not have been so effective, I think, if he had said, "You have got to have confidence in yourself," because that's pretty hard to do if you don't have confidence in yourself. Nor if he had said, "Have confidence in me," which, although better, you don't quite know how that works. But on the other hand, "Have confidence in the Lord of the universe." Well, that's a different matter. Just Just as his disciples had great faith in him, Srila Prabhupada had great faith in them. Faith that just as Krishna had empowered him to bring Krishna consciousness to the West, Krishna would similarly empower his disciples to carry the movement forward and to perform unimagined feast, feats in devotional service.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you. So, next. Okay. Um, oh, Hare Krishna. Aditya ji, you got initiated. Oh, your name is
Hare Krishna
Purijit
Prabhu.
Das.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
That is the Purujik Prabhu ki Jai. So you got newly initiated in Kurmakram,
Yes, Prabhu. During Ram Navami celebration.
Ram Navami. Okay.
Yes.
There is every Ram Navami. There is you have a birthday of yours.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, good. You're welcome to after a long time you're coming here.
Yes, Prabhu. But I told you, no, this time is little not adjustment for me.
Okay, anyhow you came so you can read it. So
Yeah,
it's
I'll
apt
read
for
it.
you. Your apt
I'll
for
read it.
you for your newly initiated dedication and sacrifice. That is what is wanted. So
Yes,
please read.
yes, Prabhu. Just 1 minute. Volumes could be written about the hardships that Srila Prabhupada's disciples underwent in his service.
Okay, one
However,
thing I want to just tell. I want to just tell. See, here Maharaj is writing equally about Prabhupada's dedication and also his disciples. We should understand, actually, Prabhupada's disciples are those who worked very hard in the initial days. Even it may be the devotees who got deviated, who left that movement, even those who were fallen, whatever may be the situation. That is because we are not the person who are the controllers. So anybody who helped Prabhupada in his mission, in whatever way, in however way, in whichever way possible, we should acknowledge their contribution, because we are here in this world practicing Krishna consciousness wherever you are situated in whichever platform. Either it may be the Kurmagram farm, or a big temple in Delhi, or in Kolkata, or in Mayapur, or in New York, or Los Angeles, or in Russia, or anywhere for that matter. It is because of Prabhupada solely and wholly, and his disciples. You should not forget that. Problem with the Ritviks is this. Ritviks take only those disciples of Prabhupada or the followers of Prabhupada who think that Prabhupada is only the Guru and no one else can be the Guru for the next 10,000 years. So only those people, actually, because I want to point out, because Maharaj is writing here, volumes can be written about the hardships that Srila Prabhupada's disciples underwent in his service. What are hardships which Prabhupada took? That we can see in Prabhupada's lectures, Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada's life itself. But how can you see, and Prabhupada's disciples also have written how Prabhupada was feeling. You know, if you read Transcendental Diary, Harijani Prabhu writes sometimes how Prabhupada is feeling the pain. You know, it's not that Harijani Prabhu is having the pain, but he can feel that. He can feel that what Prabhupada is feeling. So he has written it everything, exactly live what is going on, everything. So in that way, we can't denigrate or leave, or we cannot give a, like, we can't say that, those who have worked only, they say that those who are Prabhupada disciples, yeah, it's Prabhupada is the main core person. But these Ritviks, they forget that Prabhupada disciples also have done so much of contribution. For example, if you want to see, you can now go to Mayapur, stay wherever very nicely you can stay. Sometimes you won't get a room, that is another thing, but you have a very nice place, very nice environment, all these things. Who has done? Isn't Japataka Maharaj, Bhavananda Prabhu, so many initial devotees, they have worked very hard on the land. It's not so easy to work in Bengal in the fields with snakes, scorpions, ants, and a lot of heat, lot of cold to work, that to Western body devotees. It's not so easy. I can see that there is a devotee in Kurmagram. He's coming from United States, Amog Leela Prabhu. It's very hard for him to be there. Maharaj ordered him to be there. It's not so easy to just come from a background where you have everything arranged and then you do something. It's not so easy. So we should always see that Prabhupada's, we should, because Ritviks, they only concentrate on those people who are with Prabhupada as a guru, that's all. They interviewed a few of Prabhupada. I don't want to take their names and then create an offense against them, because whatever they are doing glorious service in Prabhupada. So I don't want to take their names of Prabhupada disciples who were under the, like, who were interviewed in by Ritviks, and they are well with them. But that is not every Prabhupada disciple has done. Jayadvaita Maharaj, he has done so much on Maharaj Prabhupada's books, but he is the person who is getting so much of backlash on the internet. So much. There's so many devotees who don't. So the thing is, we should not. It's an offense, and you will never progress in Krishna consciousness. It's written. Although you may get so much of money, so much of power, so much of name, fame, temples, management, posts, everything, but it will not please Krishna. It's all Maya. Okay, Prabhu, kindly read. However,
However, the level of austerity that Srila Prabhupada's first disciples accepted was out of necessity, not choice. For the early devotees were materially impoverished. A brief description of the facility at ISKCON Buffalo, December 1969. The old building had leaks everywhere, and the cold air seeped in around doors and loose window sashes. It was a run-down house with old carpets, uneven floors, and cracked window panes. At
I experienced this when I initially came to Atlanta over here. I'm telling you, the cold over here is not, it's unbearable. Sometimes it is very much. And I had to face it, and I got cold because where I was living in the room that had cracked window panes, and the cold wind which was seeping like anything, and I couldn't understand from where it is coming. Whole night I was in big cold, and after that I had to put clothes over there, some rags over there, and then sleep, and then next day call the devotees, and then they repaired it. But what I'm saying is that it's not so easy to live in United States in the cold season. Russia also very great cold. Japan, China, it's too much cold. India is not so much, because it is there in Kashmir or in Himachal, but here it is way far. Okay, Prabhu.
Prabhu page shifted, I think, just. Yeah. A brief description of the, Now, yes, Prabhu. Next page. At ISKCON Boston in 1968, there was no heating. Snow would come through the window, piling on the floor and on the devotees, sleeping bags as they slept. In New York 1966, we were poor, and so there were rarely real flowers on the altar, only plastic flowers. We had to buy the cheapest rice. We couldn't afford vegetables, and so we generally ate only potatoes. In the summer, we would buy watermelon and give it to Srila Prabhupada. We would give him the red inner part and save the green outer part, which we would cook as a sabji, because we rarely could afford vegetables. Our stainless steel cooking pots were mostly second hand, purchased from a restaurant supply company that sold used equipment. The apartment didn't even have a stove, and so we bought a second hand gas stove for $20. Even our clothes were second hand.
Yeah,
Toronto,
I'll tell you,
1970.
I'll tell you one thing. In the United States, if you are living, you should have at least a minimum earning nowadays in this juncture. Living in any city, if it is New York, it is too much high. But if you want to live in United States, it is at least $4,000, $4,000 to $5,000 you need minimum. Minimum 3,000 to 5,000 around it. 3,000 means it's around 45,000 rupees in India. But here everything is costly, everything. It's very difficult to live. We don't know. We are distributing books. Actually, you can see that they used to cook the green part of watermelon. Did anybody eat green part? We never ate. And how they used to take, can we imagine? We throw so much of food. So much nowadays the devotees are throwing so much of prasadam. And again, I told it many times. In Mayapur, Vrindavan, Juhu, I have seen so many devotees. They throw paneer, they throw sabji they don't want, they just throw sweet rice, they throw so much prasadam they are throwing. And we don't know what sin is incurring upon us. It is not good on our part. We should we should consider every grain, every Mahaprasad as Mahaprasad and protect. Even you are earning in your own house. I never saw my mother or my father, even Karmis there, Karmis, I never saw my mother throwing a grain of rice. Annam Parabrahma Sarupam. We know that in Telugu, we are told from childhood that Anna or the grains are like, it's another form of God. We used to be told, we were revered like that. We should never throw it, grains, because so many people, they don't have food to eat. We are propagating all over the world that hunger is killing, and we want to collect donations from all over the world and feeding the poor. And we ourselves are throwing so much of prasadam in the temples. How ironic is this? So it's not good. We should be very careful. Even grahasthas, they should be careful not to throw. No problem. Next day we can eat. Or we can eat. It's not that we have to eat every time very like hot thing or new thing, basi, or the old one we should not take. It's nothing like that. Uh, I saw devotees. I saw some Russian devotees with my own eyes. The sweet rice was spoiled. Still, the devotee took, and we said to him, "Don't take, Prabhu. It is spoiled. You will spoil your health." He said, "It is prasadam. I will take it," and nothing happened to him. So my point here is that we have to be very careful in what we are purchasing, what we are doing. Just like that, we should not spend anything. Just like that, we should not do anything in such a way that the prasadam gets wasted. Okay, continue.
Toronto, 1972. There were about 70 devotees crammed into the little house on Gerard East Street East, which was in an unsafe neighborhood. I think being jammed together in that little house was good for us. We were all in our early 20s. We lived in great austerity, sleeping on the cold hardwood floor. Beds were unheard of. 15 girls to a room, with only cold water in the shower, eating mostly cabbage and potatoes, and exactly 3 chickpeas on wax paper plates. We served flat out from 3 a.m. to 9 p.m. We were so exhausted most of the time that to stay awake during class, we used water sprayers. We shared our clothing, which was orange saris made from 6 yards of orange broadcloth for the unmarried girls and the same in yellow for those who were married. Men and women also shared a number of moon boots for winter Sankirtana. Unfortunately, they were all the same size, and we girls had to shuffle and wear many pairs of socks to keep them on our feet. Many times the girls would come home from Sankirtana after very long days in the cold with frozen fingers and toes. An American professor noted how Srila Prabhupada's Western disciples adopted a life characterized by austerity and self denial, so unlike their previous mode of life.
See,
The
Prabhuji, we are enjoying the fruits of ISKCON because of these type of devotees who suffered a lot. You can see how they were living. We never heard how Prabhupada disciples suffered. So we can see that how they used to eat, how they used to live, uh, and how they used to go for Sankirtan. Now we don't know. We have so much of money. Indians are giving money. Westerners are giving money. We don't know how austere it was at that time. I'm feeling very bad, Hare Krishna.
The impetus for such austerity was Srila Prabhupada himself, as Shivaram Swami related. Coming to Krishna consciousness was for me, as for many others, an act of great sacrifice and personal turmoil. I left my wife, dog, and a potential career, angered my parents and relations, struck out against the natural course of conditional existence, and declared war on Maya. I did not know Krishna. I understood little of the philosophy, and the way of life was foreign. But I had firm faith in Srila Prabhupada, and I followed him. Srila Prabhupada was everything. He was the spiritual master, visionary acharya, empowered preacher, head pujari, expert cook, father, friend, and only via media to Krishna. Everything I had left behind, I reposed in him. In fact, Srila Prabhupada was my life. Samapriya Devi Dasi mused, how did you attract us, Srila Prabhupada? You did not offer material benefits and riches. No, you asked us to come and join you, to sleep on the floor with no furniture and eat on the floor with no utensils. You asked us to rise early in the morning and to live very simply, getting along with each other. You asked us to partake in the Sankirtana movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and go out daily to chant the glories of Sri Krishna and distribute your books. In doing that, we had to learn to withstand the taunts of the envious as we approached souls on the streets, in the airports, bus and train stations, and state fairs around the world. Wherever people gathered, we distributed your transcendental books, and our only payment was that you would be pleased with our endeavors. Recounting her experiences in Germany in the early 1970s, Madana Mohana Mohini Devi Dasi captured the spirit of the devotees. On traveling Sankirtana with the girls, we had to beg a place to stay at night. We would stay in some far out places, a classroom. One time we stayed in a pastor's house. We were going to beg. We got up at 2 a.m. in the morning. All seasons we bathed outside. Why did we do this? Because we were on a mission, and that mission was to please Srila Prabhupada. The whole movement was so focused on that direction, and that was why it was so successful. Everything was a Hare Krishna explosion, and there was no question of not doing. You didn't even think about not doing. All the things we did and the austerities weren't really austerities. We didn't think of them as austerities. It was just to please Srila Prabhupada and to push on his movement. You didn't think about it as a risk. You just did it for Srila Prabhupada. You just gave everything to Srila Prabhupada. We did everything for Srila Prabhupada. It wasn't like risk so much. At least we didn't look at it like that. That was the mood. Let me do it to please Srila Prabhupada, whatever it was.
Okay, Prabhuji, we'll stop here. And
Hare
before leaving, I'll just tell one thing that better we count our blessings than complain. Better we should make this. We should count our blessings, what Prabhupada has given, what Prabhupada disciples are given, than complaint about ISKCON or devotees or temples or whatever is happening. So better we count on our blessings, what we have at our disposition. So that will inspire us. And whenever you think any demotivation, or whenever you think that things are not working in Krishna consciousness, or something is a problem in your life, either it may be a grahastha or a brahmachari or whoever it is, every time mind is for everyone is the same. So mind is there for everyone. For some people mind is there, and along with that, wife is there, children are there, husband is there, children are there. For a brahmachari, mind itself is too much for him. Brahmachari satamar kataha. So the thing is, we should always read these passages so that we get some inspiration. What austerities they did, how they used to wake up, how used to come, and all those things. So we may read these passages, take a print, and every day read it so that we get some inspiration to chant, read, and distribute Srila Prabhupada's books in whatever may be the circumstances we may arise. Okay. Hare Krishna. If devotees have anything to say, so they may unmute themselves and raise their hand and speak. If they have anything to say. Nobody has anything to say? Okay. Then we will stop here and we will meet tomorrow at this time. Chris Lucy. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Sorry, I didn't see you. Okay. We are Hare Krishna. Pranam. Thank you for joining. You are from which part of the world? You are from United States or from Mexico? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Mataji or Prabhuji, I don't know. Okay, I think it is okay. Thank you very much. So tomorrow we'll meet at the same time at 7:15 Indian Standard Time, at 9:45 at American Standard Time or Eastern Standard Time, American time. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripasindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्त वृंद की जाय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जाय, His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj ki jai, and the mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. And one more thing I wanted to tell, whatever the recordings are there previously, whatever we had, so please share them, and you all yourself also hear continuously. So we have recorded it and put it on our group. And if you don't have the copy, please order from Bhakti Vikas Trust website, the mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Let's stop. Hare Krishna.